a house of light brings clarity to your soul, offering a safe space for healing through our compassionate practitioners, services, classes, and wisdom, plus the tools to support you in our retail space.
Hello, I'm Pina Payne with Contour Mortgage, and we're so excited. We have just moved to this new company, and we are located at 560 Newnan Crossing Bypass in Newnan, next to Art and Jake's. And we have some great products. Our interest rates are better than any other companies, and we also have some great products for the VA. We can do a better deal for you with fees than any other company. We have a lot of different kind of programs.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is MJ Graham with Columbus River Giants, your home for River Giants hockey. Newnan 99 Rock.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
Good morning. Welcome to WQEE 99.1. I'm Donna.
And I am Bruce.
And this is
Lyrical Wisdom.
Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Donna. How are you this morning?
I am great, great, great.
I loved listening to the show before.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. And living in gratitude, that really touched me.
Yeah, it is the season.
It is the season. Mm-hmm, yes, and please, if anybody out there has a chance, November 18th, 1 p.m. and 6 p.m., and November 19th at 1 p.m., I am performing the role of Drosselmeyer in the Nutcracker Ballet for Peachtree City School of Dance at Whitewater High School in Fayetteville, Georgia. That's November 18th, 1 p.m. and 6 p.m., and November 19th at 1 p.m.
I can't wait, Bruce. I'm so excited.
I'm excited that you're coming. My wife is coming. There's a really nice group of my friends that are going to be there, and I'm excited because I would love to show you some of the attempted quote-unquote magic tricks that I perform in this, but
wow.
I'd be afraid that I'd set the radio station room on fire. That's not a joke, actually. That's true. And my students, if they're listening out there, they could attest to that. So they've been watching this. But we have a really, really wonderful song this morning. This was actually a process of kind of elimination, I feel like, because what's really funny is Donna texted me a few ideas, and this song was among one of them, and it was the very first inkling I had in my head. It was like a little itch to my brain. The song is called Changes by David Bowie, and just let me know what grabbed you about this song, Donna.
Well, I didn't realize it was David Bowie. I honestly didn't. I was like, David Bowie, okay. I've always loved this song. And I had narrowed it down to 2, brought it to the station here, and as you know, I did the show before, and yeah. I said, what do you think, Ryan? And he said, oh, I love Changes. So this is Ryan's choice today.
But that means that that's 3. 3 people came together.
Yes.
On this song.
Yeah.
That's a really special number. And as the song says, 3 is a magic number. And for those of you that remember Schoolhouse Rock, but yes, this is a wonderful, wonderful song, and that makes me filled with gratitude for that because I really felt something connected to this. So I'm going to start reading this if that's all right. I'm going to go ahead and go into it. Changes by David Bowie. I still don't know what I was looking for, and my time was running wild. 1,000,000 dead-end streets. Every time I thought I'd got it made. It seemed the taste was not so sweet, so I turned myself to face me. But I've never caught a glimpse of how the others must see the faker. I'm much too fast to take that test. Changes. Turn and face the stranger. Just gotta have to be a different one. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. I watch the ripples change their size, but never leave the stream of warm impermanence. So the days float through my eyes, but still the days seem the same. And these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds, they're immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they are going through. Changes. Turn and face the stranger. Where's your shame? You've left us up to our necks in it. Time may change me, but you can't trace time. Strange fascination, fascinating me. Changes are taking the pace I'm going through. Changes. Turn and face the stranger. Pretty soon you're gonna get a little older. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. I said that time may change me, but I can't trace time. That part of it is so iconic, I couldn't help but add a little bit of my own artistic.
I loved it.
I just had to. It's just such an iconic song to me, and it almost it is so poetic.
And you know, it's the perfect time to do this with the changing of the leaves, the changing of the seasons, everything. It's perfect. I still don't know what I was looking for, and my time was running wild.
That is such an amazing beginning to a song, I think. I love the way that sounds, because I think a lot of people can resonate with those words. I still don't know what I was looking for. You could take was and make it an am. I still don't know what I'm looking for, and my time was and is running wild.
You're right.
It's kind of like you could kind of like just give it a little word salad there, and it kind of really kind of works that way.
You can change
the words. Change it, yeah, and because it really seems to apply. And then,
well, for me, I saw it as those teenage years, the early adulthood. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
And now that I'm adult, I still don't know what I was looking for.
Absolutely.
And my time was running wild. In other words, I know my time. I was having a wild time. The time was just running wild.
Yes.
So for me, that's kind of how I was relating to that.
I honestly feel like this, it seems like it could be taken from one way of looking at it to another, and it just seems to resonate on every single avenue or any rabbit hole you kind of take it down, because I can guarantee that my time felt like it has ran wild, especially in my youth. And that's where I feel like we also have our past, present, and future all at the same time. But that's where our time running wild, and then a million dead-end streets every time I thought I got it made.
Yes.
I find that fascinating to think of some of the stories that people hear, just in the simplest of way of looking at it, like people who are in business who they say, I had so many complete and utter drops, and they ended up becoming something that made me find my success.
Right.
The ways of kind of dropping down and having to find your way back up, almost like failure. I don't like that word necessarily, but like you think you have it made, and it's just a dead-end street. And it seemed the taste was not so sweet.
So I turned myself to face me.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
That
I'm so
was
glad you picked up that line.
Yes.
Yes.
This whole, everything he said before is all about, looking at life.
Absolutely.
And going within.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's all about, all the stuff I did as a teenager, as a young adult, even as, in my 30s.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, it's
Absolutely.
like a million dead end streets. It
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that, you know. You know, your first, you know, boyfriends, girlfriends, or whatever. How many times did you break up? You know, stuff like that. And every time I thought I got it made, the taste was not so sweet. So back to that old saying, the grass is always greener on the
Oh my
other
gosh,
side.
yes.
And that is until you can go within.
Exactly.
And find the peace and the love and the I
gratitude.
am enough, the gratitude
Yes.
within yourself.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I turned myself to face me is such an incredible comment
Yes.
to that. And I've never caught a glimpse of how the others must see the faker. I'm much too fast to take that test. I've never caught a glimpse of how the others must see the faker. Meaning, others can see through this facade that I've created.
And I'm much too fast to take that test.
Running away.
Yep.
Before
Yep.
they
I
can
know
get
how to
caught.
turn back around before, you know,
They can see
I
me,
have
I
to
better-
really look deep within me.
Yeah.
Because that is what catches everybody and stops everybody. They don't want to go to those deep, dark places.
No.
How many masks, that's what I also call the faker.
Yes.
How many masks, you know, can you
Yes.
take off? How many masks have you put on?
Exactly,
That's-
the lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only way you can see that or do that or experience that is through changes.
Yes.
turn and face the stranger.
Which is the person in the mirror.
Yes, which is the person that you really don't know until you
Yes.
get to know, right?
Exactly.
You gotta know yourself. You gotta love yourself.
Just gonna have to be a different one. That part, though, I think, oh my gosh, time may change me, but I can't trace time. I just, that turn and face the stranger, and it just seems like this comment, it could be read many different ways.
Well, it sounds to me that for him, he's giving up.
Yes,
You know, I'm
that's
just going to have to
exactly-
be a different one. So I'm going to have to be a different stranger because I don't know this one. So I'm going to be a different one.
That's it, and you're hearing it in real time that we're synchronizing on these lyrics right here. That's exactly what I thought too, and
Right.
that is, I was just kind of waiting because I thought this is what I'm feeling, and then you just said it, acknowledged it, and confirmed it, and so I find that to be the part that it's like the continuing comment through the song because it is almost like a lament. Like this comment on just going to have to be a different one. Time may change me, but I can't trace time because at this moment they're not ready to make the changes.
Right.
And so
That's right.
That, I feel like that's that comment in there, and
How do you trace time?
that's a difficult question because I think a lot of people would say, well, in literal ways, we could look at our watch or our phones and say that's how we trace time.
Right.
And to kind of look at it that way, and I say that only because I think that's like a I don't know what part of the brain we use or how the whatever psychology of that is, but I just think that's something that we could fall back on right now for an easy answer.
Yes,
For an
in the
easy answer.
moment, I'm pulling in on what you said about past, present, future.
Yes.
It's all there. Really is no time.
No,
Is
exactly.
what is really the difficult thing when you're beginning to wake up and understand energy and the flow and
Yes.
our divinity
Yes.
and all of the above.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's time is what we create
It is.
so that to move in a linear fashion from morning to night,
Yes.
from noon to 5 p.m.
Yes.
It's what we create.
Yeah.
And so for me, this going deep, he's saying he can't trace time because time doesn't really exist.
Exactly.
That, all of this that's happening is here and now.
Yes.
Even though it was in the past.
Yes.
And even though it's going to be in the future.
Yes.
It's all right here, right now.
It is. It is all relative. It is, as in certain ways, time is not a measurable thing. It is something that it kind of would, I think, call intangible, in a way, and it is a thing that it is everything all at once in its own way, past, present, and future all together. So yes, I feel like that is that's how I see that too. It's just that if you take a trace, like just following, like if you're just drawing something and tracing something, I'm thinking of just the literal translation of the word, I guess. And that to me could indicate, like, if you want to, you could look at it like a clock.
Yeah.
Because that is what most of us, that's what determines our time. We're watching a clock or our phones. But I agree with you. Time may change me, but I can't trace time because it is not mine to trace. It is not mine to define.
It doesn't really exist.
Exactly. Thank you.
And so this is really a deep song. Wow.
It is.
Because I mean, to be, you are going to have to be a different stranger, but which one are you going to choose to be?
Yes.
That's where the changes come in.
Yes.
So, turn and face the stranger. Gonna have to be a different one.
Gonna have to be a different one.
Which one are you going to choose in this very moment that you're turning to face the stranger?
And
what are you choosing? Time. That moment that you turned and faced the stranger causes the change. Seriously.
It does. It's the icebreaker.
Time may change me.
Yes.
That's, that one moment that I turned and faced this. But I can't trace that because it doesn't really exist.
No, I can't. But the thing is once you look at it, once you see it, you can't be unseen.
Exactly.
It cannot be changed.
Exactly. So.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And
so I watch the ripples change their size, but never leave the stream.
Of warm impermanence. That is incredible.
Yeah, you become the stream.
And the warm impermanence is that loving kind of warmth, flowy, kind of like floaty numbness of it, of that.
The stream flowing through you.
Yeah.
You just, yeah.
So the days float through my eyes, but still the days seem the same.
Yeah.
It's like walking through a fog every day, if you will, I think, somewhat.
Yeah.
But the fog is a nice warm soup.
Yeah. In that moment of realization of who you really are, for me, is that moment, the change, that you've just made. You see the ripples changing their size.
Yes.
But you don't want to leave because you're in such a warm impermanence of knowing that who you really are and that you're creating those ripples.
Yes.
It's you.
It is.
And the days float through your eyes and yet they seem the same.
The exact same thing because they just keep floating through. It's almost as if we're coasting or...
Because you're seeing the world around you.
Yes.
That is not awake.
Exactly. You see it in its completeness.
You hear people say that we must have eyes that see and ears that hear.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what this is saying.
Especially because...
The days float through my eyes, but they seem the same. In other words, I'm seeing how the world is just like a machine.
Yeah.
Going.
And it's like churning and churning and churning these things out. And the ripples, I find that fun to look at too, about the drop in the water and then the ripples and that image being something that is a calming image. And in that sense, I also feel like that could be an indication of like a consciousness stream and that warm impermanence of that feeling of like what we're talking about. Yes, we're in this new frequency and consciousness, seeing the world with different eyes, and the days float through my eyes, but still days seem the same because now we're in a new frequency, we're in a new consciousness, seeing these things with
with my change.
With
I
these
have
changes,
changed,
yes.
but the world has not changed.
Yes. And these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds,
Yeah.
they're immune to your consultations. They are quite aware of what they're going through. That is incredible to me. I think that I feel like we have a different feeling on how these lyrics can be translated, and I'm going to really kind of sink into that, because I feel like it's just kind of a little bit of a comment on this world that they're seeing float through their eyes, but still the days seem the same. And so seeing these children that you spit on, the children have to mean something. And I'm thinking these children actually mean not what I think most people would think they do in this song. What do you think he's indicating as these children are?
I'm thinking it is the world, the
The mechanism.
right, the mechanism. It's
Yes.
the schools,
Yes.
the
Yes.
colleges, things like that.
Yes, yes,
the way
that's-
that we all treat our children, it's almost as if you're spitting on them because you're not
Exactly.
respecting them.
Yes.
You're not allowing them to be and grow at who they really
Exactly.
are. You're trying to mold them into, what society has said a child.
Construct.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly where I was feeling that was
We're
going.
trying to change their world.
Exactly.
We take them out of their fantasy, their I can do anything, and we put them in school.
Pre-programming
you
and-
can't get up. You got to
Exactly.
sit down.
Yeah, everything becomes a no and no, no, no. And I
Right.
loved how you said yes-vember instead of November
Yes,
earlier.
Vember.
Yes. And I feel that. I feel that, when you take children and you take them and you kind of confine them in that way, but I do also have to say, I do respect the act of educating them. However, I do want to say that, when we have certain things that are constantly bombarding them with a negative mindset and a negative existence, that's when I feel like we could call it the construct around them that is showing them what their world is. It's like there's the symbols, the things that they're being taught are the things that are really truly the spitting on them. It's not the children themselves being spit on. It is these things that are just not exactly guiding them in their most evolving way.
Yeah.
And so that's how I say that, because as they try to change their worlds, they're immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through, especially nowadays. All children seem to be so immune. They just seem to be able to grow up in this world. They're amazing. They're such beautiful creatures, and
Yes.
they just see through all of these things that we're talking about, the days floating through their eyes, and they all seem the same. And these kids are looking at us like, look at all these adults walking around in this fog. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are quite aware of what they're going through.
Yeah. A child, it's called the innocence of a child. It really, really speaks to that to me.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yes.
And then changes. Turn and face the stranger. And this next line.
Where's your shame? You've left us up to our necks in it.
Yeah, that is just
The generation after generation after generation of you gotta go to work, gotta get married, gotta have children. They've gotta get married, go to work, have children. It's been this society norm kind of rules and regulations is what I'm thinking of it. You've left our necks up to our necks in it.
and that's
Disrespect,
actually,
not honoring Gaia, Earth,
yeah.
not, there is
Yes.
so much, our, big pharma, our health, our own ways of living,
Yes.
It's really put shackles on us.
It has, just
Yeah.
like at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty. on her feet. There are actual shackles down there. And I believe that that is actually a very good point. I think that too. You've left us up to our necks in it, because normally when people get buried at the beach, if they're going to go all the way in like that, they at least leave their head sticking out. But that's just trying to be funny. I just do think, though, that, you know, that's how we think of when we have to dig ourselves out of the poop. We got to, like, get in, and we may be up to our necks in it. And that's true. I think that's how the world has sometimes, it sometimes feels that way. Or it could be said, you know, that's how we leave it to the youth of today. And so, you know, once again, here we are. Turn and face the stranger. Hey, where's your shame? You know, and I know that nowadays that word has such a kind of weird meaning in its own way, but in this way, you know, one person looking at something that they have may created where they've left their own self up to their neck in it, I know that sometimes we feel certain ways, and that it resonates with the police outside.
Yeah,
and,
that means you're speaking truth.
Yes, I hope so. But you know, this is something that sometimes we have to accept what we have done, and sometimes in those moments we can feel a little shame, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because gosh, I mean, if you feel like you've left yourself up to your neck in it, and you have to get up and out of it, you're going to feel a little bit of that, and that's okay, because you're going to pick yourself up.
Yeah, because time may change you. But here he says, but you can't trace time.
Yes.
Strange fascination fascinating me. Changes are taking the pace I'm going through.
Yes. And that pace of the changes of the frequency and the consciousness and the just seeing the world in different eyes.
Right, and everybody's pace is perfect for them. The pace that you're going through your changes and understanding that we are all one, yes, and that we come from love,
yes,
and that we are love,
yes, is
up to you.
Yes.
Your pace.
Yeah, no, that's so wonderful, because then the next
yeah,
it's
pretty soon you're going to get a little older.
Yeah, and
yep,
time may change me, but I can't trace time, and I feel that every day. Yeah. I really do, and I feel so grateful for every day. I loved how you said that, because I feel like that's how the show before, Donna was speaking this, I think, that, you know, what we're talking about is these changes being something that we look at, and in some ways they can create shame, and they can create certain ways of looking back on them like we don't want them or we are afraid of them. But actually they are wonderful changes that can help move us into a more grateful existence in the right here, right now.
Yes, gratitude. Exactly. Which holds the same frequency of love.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and it is the season of gratitude.
It is the season of gratitude, and I think that's a wonderful, wonderful message.
Yes.
To finish on, I guess. So, thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Bruce. When is your show?
Oh gosh,
your dance?
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll be performing Drosselmeyer, and it is November 18th, 1 p.m. and 6 p.m., and November 19th, 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. at Whitewater High School in Fayetteville, Georgia. That's Peachtree City School of Dance.
And that's tomorrow and Sunday.
Tomorrow and Sunday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Yeah. Thank you for joining us here today on Lyrical Wisdom.
Thank you,
we will
Donna.
see you. Oh, and please send requests to lyricalwisdomshow at gmail.com.
That's lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. Please send us your requests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I watch the ripples change the size, but never leave the stream of warm permanent sand. So the days float through my